Hey, 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 yeah, hey, what a time to be alive. I left them for dead, now I'm living right. No new friends, no new advice. That was high then, but we got bigger heights. We got bigger fish to fry. Bet on myself, then I roll the dice. Man, it ain't a gamble if you know you nice.
All right, welcome back to Dawn of Dream Podcast. I'm your host, Ara Amen, the #1 podcast in Dallas. And my special guest here today is Cornelius Jones, content creator, investor of
10 Mina Investing.
10 Mina Investing. Check him out on YouTube. Been in the game for crypto and what was EXP?
EXP? XRP.
XRP. There we go.
Yes,
So I don't know
sir.
anything about crypto. I don't
Yes,
know.
sir.
So that's why I brought an expert in here today. So
Yes,
would
sir.
love to know more about your expertise and kind of what you have predicting in the future as far as market share and finance and things like that.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Absolutely, man. Could you bring that sucker up as close as possible to the mic?
Okay, there we go.
And then I want to start with just kind of like background.
Okay.
Where were you born? What was
Yeah.
family like? The origin story of Cornelius.
All right. Yeah, so I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan,
Okay.
born and raised. And so I left Detroit about 18 to go to college at Dillard University in New Orleans.
Okay.
I wanted to leave Detroit because I hate the snow. hate the snow. Ended up getting married in New Orleans very early and started a family down there. And then Hurricane Katrina happened. Ended up going back to Detroit where the economy was unbelievably crazy. You know, 1 out of every 4 people didn't have a job in Detroit. And times were really bad. And we ended up moving to get just for a better opportunity. And that's how I came here to Dallas. And it was right around that time, that 2008 market crash.
Yeah.
It was right around that time, and I got out of Detroit, came to Dallas, started teaching, got into some life insurance, a lot of self-employment things. I've always been a hustler, a whole bunch of side hustles and stuff like that. But I've been heavily involved into crypto ever since about I learned about XRP. Probably about, when was it? 2001. It was the spring of 2001.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. I was at a party, and a group of guys were talking about it. One of my friends was like, "Yo, have you heard about XRP? Do you know anything about this new financial system that's supposed to be coming?" And I listened to everything he said, and I went and did my own research. And it didn't take me long at all to understand, okay, wow, this is something I need to pay attention to. So. Yeah.
What was that first interaction like? What did your friend tell you that piqued your interest?
Yeah, well, the first thing he told me, he said, "Well, you know Bitcoin, right?" And I was like, "Yeah."
In 2001.
No, 2021. Did
Oh,
I say 2001? I'm
yeah.
sorry. Did I say 2001? I meant 2021.
21. Okay.
Yeah, because XRP and Bitcoin wasn't created until 2009.
Okay.
XRP wasn't
Yeah,
created
yeah.
until 2012 or 2013, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2021. What's that? About 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when I first got into crypto.
And then what was that conversation? You said you got to check out XRP.
Yeah, so a lot of people, if they don't know anything about crypto, usually they at least know Bitcoin.
Right.
Right. And
That's
so
me.
I was definitely familiar with Bitcoin. I knew at the time Bitcoin was, I think it was like $30,000 or something like that. And someone was like, telling me about, there's another coin on the horizon that, could possibly do much better than Bitcoin, that people are projecting will do better than Bitcoin because the banks are going to be using it. It's the coin for the banks. That's what he was telling me. It's the coin for the banks. And Bitcoin was, pretty much is like the coin that is supposed to allow freedom from the banks, right? It's for the people, so they don't have to use the banks. And Bitcoin was like, that's a good idea, but then XRP, people were like, no, the banks are going to be using this stuff too, and this is what's going to help the banks in the future. So I looked into it myself, found out so many things, and I was hooked right away. I was definitely hooked right away.
So Bitcoin, do they both use the blockchain?
Yes, so Bitcoin is blockchain,
Okay.
and XRP is a lot of times people use the word blockchain interchangeably, but it's not really blockchain when it comes to XRP. It's something called distributed ledger technology.
Okay.
DLT, distributed ledger technology.
So before we get into that, maybe explain blockchain, because
Yes.
I just know very little about it, but I
Yeah.
know kind of like I watch YouTube videos and I kind of understand the concept. But maybe love to hear it from your perspective.
So you have something called proof of work. And so there are miners that have to do these extensive algorithms for every transaction, right? And once they do the computing and they're able to add a block to the chain, that solidifies, what happened and everything in the network. And so that's proof of work, and the transaction time is a little slow. It takes about 10 minutes for the transaction to be completed. And the problem with that, it's great, but the problem with that is because of the computing power. It takes a lot of power to electricity to compute the transactions, and it can't scale because someone has to do that math in order for those transactions to go through. And so it can get really clunky if you're trying to send too many payments at one time, and it won't be able to scale. So it's not efficient enough for the banks to be able to use it for $1 trillion payments, every single day, and
specifically
and
the blockchain.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
So the difference is a consensus mechanism. That's what with distributed ledger technology with XRP, there is a consensus mechanism. So there's no reward, there's no fiscal reward for, adding nodes or anything like that. It's simply all of the validators are there. They all want the thing to work, and that's the reward. We all want this to work. We're running validators, we're running nodes, and it's a community of people that just make sure that everything is working properly. But it's a consensus mechanism, so that it can totally scale to whatever number it needs to scale to without having to worry about slowing down or transaction speed.
Can you break that down deeper, because I missed it?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so I understand the blockchain is that you have to add on top of it, and adding on top of it, that you have to have a transaction, and then that costs. It's not efficient. It takes time, takes power, takes energy.
Yes.
You said the ledger distribution. What was
Distributed ledger.
Distributed ledger technology.
Yes,
what is that?
So when it comes to the technology of it, I'm not as well versed as people like David Schwartz. He's the CTO at Ripple. He would, that's a person I listen to all the time when it comes to explaining exactly how distributed ledger technology works. I understand why it's a great investment. I understand
what
why
does it do then?
What does it do?
Yeah.
What does distributed ledger technology do?
Yeah.
Well, it's a system that allows transaction from fiat to fiat, or any digital asset to another digital asset.
Okay. Okay, interesting. And then XRP is using that system.
100%. It is its own system. The XRP token is native to the actual ledger, so it is its own system.
Oh, interesting. So
Yes,
like blockchain has different coins.
Right, exactly.
But XRP is only tied to this system.
That's right. The XRP ledger, it is its own system.
So did they create this system for the purpose of efficiency in processing payments?
XRP was created to be a better Bitcoin.
Okay.
The same engineers that made XRP were the same engineers that worked early on Bitcoin.
Interesting.
And they saw the inefficiencies that Bitcoin had and why banks would not be able to use something like Bitcoin. And so that's why XRP was created, with that in mind. So it's kind of like Bitcoin will be like MySpace,
right?
And XRP is Facebook.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So why did the engineers get together and say we need the banks to use this? Because I thought we don't want the banks to use this.
Now that we can talk about that. We can definitely talk about that. To my understanding, it was just their plan. It's their marketing strategy. It's like, okay, we want to go forth with this coin. What market do we want to get? Do we want to go to all the consumers and try to get them to adopt the technology, or do we want to go to the banks and try to get them to adopt the technology?
There it is.
Let's look at the internet. The reason the internet has been globally adopted is because they started with the institutions, the government, the education facilities, institutions like that, and then it trickled down to everybody else. And so their marketing plan was to go definitely with the banks, with the biggest institutions who have the most capital to run through this thing. And that's exactly what it's going to do. If if we don't need the banks, right, the banks would suffer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what's going to keep the banks afloat with this technology that's definitely about to change the world. So they're definitely starting with the banks. XRP is definitely for banks, but for the people who are regular consumers like me and you who are in the know, there's a big opportunity there.
Okay, so right now the banks are using what is it, like they're using digital currency somehow in form.
Yes, 100%.
And so are they having trouble processing and you, like you said with blockchain, if you were to process trillions of dollars of payments, it'd be really inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
Banks right now are processing trillions of dollars in electronically. Is it inefficient right now?
So the inefficiencies are with the current system as is, the fiat system. The inefficiencies are the friction in the market when it comes to transacting value globally. There you have what is known as nostro vostro accounts. It's basically dead money that all the central banks have sitting there for settlement, right? So when country A wants to send, millions of dollars to country B, there has to be a wire transfer, right? That takes 3 to 5 business days. And then they use the nostro vostro money, which is United States dollars, to handle that transaction, which costs a lot of fees. So the fastest way to send the money, if you really wanted to get it there the fastest, is to put it on a plane and fly it there, right? And so in a world where we can send information like an email in seconds, it's just long overdue for some of these inefficiencies to be updated.
I had no idea that it was such a hassle with fees, timing.
Oh yeah,
to wire money.
That's what's about to be the game changer. It's when the banks saved in the fees. These fees are about to be practically zero.
What are the fees that they have to?
On the XRP ledger, the fee is decimal 0.0001 XRP, which is 1/100,000th of 1 XRP. That's the transaction fee.
Okay.
That's a lot cheaper than the fees that they're currently. They're going to save millions and eventually billions of dollars just in fees, and being able to send the money in a second, in 3 to 5 seconds. That's going to be a total game changer for these big institutions.
But what are the fees that they're currently? Do you know about is it like processing fees, service fees? Someone sitting in a computer,
because there's not
doing
enough,
all this work.
There's not enough liquidity in the market, right, for the fees to be low. That's why the fees are so high. So let's say you're in some exotic part of the world. You're in Indonesia or something like that.
I love it.
And you want to send some money to someone who lives in Switzerland or something like that, or maybe you're going to Switzerland. Maybe you have $2,000 that you want to switch over, and you want to switch the currency. Well, it's probably, I'm estimating, I don't know the exact number,
right?
But for that $2,000 for that type of pair, that may cost you $75, somewhere between $75 and $200.
Yeah.
Versus where XRP, that may cost 20 cents or something like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So the future is that we're gonna eliminate this processing time and processing fees and the efficiency of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my assumption is these fees are probably someone sitting at a computer making sure all the work is done right, and that's probably going to that's going to be gone. So do you think jobs will be created or eliminated because of this fee?
Both jobs are going to be eliminated and jobs are going to be created. There are going to be so many just when you connect with AI, every time there is a evolution in our technology, jobs are lost and jobs are gained.
Mm-hmm.
When major problems are solved that people were doing, and now we don't have to do that job anymore because of certain computing power or certain technology, those are the jobs that are being lost. But that new technology brings on new opportunities for maybe other technicians, other investment opportunities, and so there's always a market where people are getting an opportunity, and then there are people who have to refigure some things out because of the technology's kind of taken over a little bit.
Right. So what are some things that this system is going to create for us?
Well, if you're talking about regular consumers, for me, it's about investment. It's about the freedom that is that comes with having a currency like this. I am of the belief that we are about to go through what people are labeling a black swan event, some very dark times, right? So the coronavirus could be something like was something like a black swan, right? I believe there's a financial crash that is coming, and having some type of currency that is not tied to anything else, that you independently control, it's jurisdictionless, permissionless, open source, no one can take it from you. That is going to be an incredible thing to have in an atmosphere where the world economy is crashing and families are suffering. The reason I believe there's going to be a crash is because the current status of our dollar as the reserve currency, like that Nostro Vostro money I talked about, that's about to be done away with. And so what the nations are moving towards is what they want is a level playing field. When you listen to them speak, they keep talking about a level playing field. Right now, the United States dollar has had the dominance because it sits in all the central banks as the reserve currency, which is why the U.S. can put sanctions on Russia, which is why they can, in the West, they can make rules and things like that. Well, now, a level playing field means the reserve currency is not controlled by any central location, by any central government, which is like XRP, Bitcoin, crypto. No one controls it. However, in its role, in its functionality as bridge liquidity for cross-border payments, if the banks are going to that, then those who invested in it are going to be in a great opportunity because of the use case is going to drive much demand to the coin. So in a season where there's a financial crash and the inflation has kicked our butt to the point where everything is twice as much now. Yeah. Right? You go to milk $5. Right.
Eggs $10.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And if your pay is not going up, that's an incredible hard time to go through. And so having XRP that is appreciating, that is increasing in value while the dollar is decreasing, that can have tremendous advantages for consumers who invested in it.
So okay, I'm understanding XRP, right? So it's more efficient. They're marketing it towards the banks so that the banks are able to take this and utilize it. And then when we say banks, these are American banks, right?
World banks.
So
all over the world.
So how
America is the slowest to adopt this technology.
Really?
We're behind.
So can you go into the history of XRP and then so you said it was in 2013 when it started.
Yes.
Could you kind of go through that timeline and where it is today?
Well, I'll give you as much as I know. Okay. As much as I understand. But from 2013 to 2020, XRP was doing good. It's it hit the all-time high. It got up to $3.84.
So for $1 American dollar, $3.84 of
yes,
XRP.
For one XRP was $3.84. That was the all-time high, and I think it reached that. Was it 2017, 2018? It was somewhere around there. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but you have the creators of XRP. One of the creators, David Schwartz, Arthur Brito, and Chris Larson. Those are the three creators of XRP. XRP was gifted to a company called Ripple. It wasn't called Ripple back then. I think it was OpenCoin or something like that. They rebranded their name and they became Ripple. And so Ripple is a fintech company that is they have a lot of XRP and they've been distributing XRP all over the globe. So banks have been buying XRP from Ripple for the specific use cases of things like cross-border payments. And so all was good until 2020 when the SEC dropped this bullshit lawsuit, on the XRP community against Brad Garlinghouse, against Chris Larson. And so not to get too deep into that part, but just going over the history. Since that point, that's when the price of XRP crashed down tremendously. It got, after the lawsuit, I think it got down as low as maybe 19 cents or something like that. Today it's up to, I think it's like around 50 cents, 51, 52 cents
Right now.
Right now it's about 51.
So
52
in 2020 it was 319.
No, I believe the all-time high hit in 2018. I believe. I don't know the exact date the all-time high hit.
But if your
what I do
prediction's
know-
correct, if it's 50 cents, we should be buying a whole bunch of it. 'Cause it's gonna go back up.
That's my plan. That's
We'll,
what I
we'll
do.
get to that point.
We'll get to that. You'll get to that. Yeah. Yeah, but it's only a matter of time when the use case actually kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the price is going to appreciate to tremendous levels. Yeah.
Okay, and then so after, what was the lawsuit about? Because we hear about lawsuits all the time against crypto and bitcoins and all this stuff. And why is the government trying to slow this down or regulate it?
Well, let's think about this. Let's connect some dots.
Yeah.
Let's connect some dots. When an industry, right, is being overcome or overtaken by someone else, there's a lot of big people that's going to end up losing money.
Okay.
Right. So
The owners of the banks.
there you go.
Okay.
The biggest banks in the world don't want faster payments. Why? Because they're the ones that are receiving the fees.
There's the jobs that they're.
There you go.
That
right.
money goes to
So
them,
your
yeah.
J.P. Morgans, right? That people like J.P. Morgan, they're not interested in this technology evolving. They want to slow this thing down, right? And that's exactly what many of us in the XRP community believe is what happened, is that they were just trying to slow down innovation. Because when you look at the case and you look at what has been said and the litigation tactics that the SEC were involved in, it's obvious. It's like, what are they doing? It's total bullshit. But the case is all centered around, is XRP a security? So the SEC made a claim that the sales of XRP they constitute securities contracts, which means there has to be certain paperwork that needs to be filed and things of that nature. And so XRP is not a security, but they claimed it was. And it's hypocritical because right before they dropped the lawsuit, William Hinman, who was a part of the SEC at the time, he came out and did a whole speech explaining that Ethereum was not a security.
Okay.
And
so if Ethereum's not a security, then
right. And then and then right after that, like a year later, they came and sued XRP claiming that it is a security. And so people are like, okay, well, what's the difference between Ethereum and XRP, right? Well, when you dig a little deeper, you understand that, William Hinman has some ties with a company called Simpson Thacher, who is a major, donor into Ethereum. So there was some conflict. There's some conflicts of interest there with William Hinman with that speech. That's a whole documentary that's going to be coming out called XRP Unleashed. That will be coming out later in November. But yeah, it's definitely corruption. It was all about corruption with this lawsuit. They're still in the lawsuit as of right now. It will be over very soon. And the hope is we should be able to reach a settlement once we get a new president and they fire the current chair of the SEC, Gary Gensler, and they hopefully put a more crypto-friendly person in the SEC, and they're able to settle with Ripple. That's the anticipation.
So what is the timeline for, let's say, a boom in XRP, right? Because we have predictions.
My prediction is anytime between 2025 and 2030.
Okay.
That's my prediction. The reason that's my prediction is because according to my research, 2025 is the time where we are going digital. 2025. There is a new standard in the payment infrastructure called ISO 20022. And so that's an upgrade from the ISO 20015 that came in, that brought in like the credit cards and things of that nature. But this new standard, this new digital standard, is affecting the messaging system and how the value is being transacted. So you have messaging and you have settlement. This new standard deals with the messaging and the crypto deals with the settlement. And that standard is going to bring upon faster payments. Those two things working together is what's bringing upon faster payments for the entire globe. And that standard must be adhered to by 2025.
Who's creating the standard?
And so it's something that all the central banks are working on together. when United Nations get together, the World Bank, Economic Forum, the IMF, the BIS, these are all the biggest institutions in the world when it comes to finance. They're all in on it. They're all in on this new financial system. It just takes time. It takes a lot of time to get it done. But everything I'm reading, 2025 is the beginning year of this adoption. Really, this year, at the end of this year, we're at the end of this year. We have some digital assets that are about to be issued called stable coins. And the United States has a stable coin that they're going to be using called RLUSD. That's Ripple's stable coin. And they've minted at least 1 trillion coins. There was a wallet transfer of 1 trillion RLUSD. So they're getting ready. They haven't fully issued it yet. But these the BRICS nations over in the East, they have a stable coin that is going to be backed by gold. The United States, the RLUSD is going to be backed by United States dollar, treasuries, and other cash equivalents. And so these real world digital assets, the implementation of them, the issuance of them is going to help XRP grow and a role of functionality that's going to bring what we hold as we like to say, to the moon. Because what XRP is, it's bridge liquidity between the world's digital assets. So whenever we're transacting value between different assets, XRP sits in the middle to handle that transaction, to keep those frictionless fees, those fast payments going.
Well, okay, what does that mean for our current dollar?
Trouble. But initially, yes. But just as the BRICS nations are using the technology to get out from under the slums of the dollar, so we will also be able to use the technology to strengthen the dollar. But initially, it's going to be some hard times because the dollar is not being used in the same capacity that it was. Like over there in India, the petrodollar, right? So they had an agreement. If you want to get oil, you got to get it through United States dollars.
Right.
Anybody that wants to buy oil, that's done away with. They just did. I did a report some months ago how India and China, they did a deal of like $500 million of oil trade, and it did not have anything to do
with the dollar,
right? At all.
So okay, so let's say I have $100,000 sitting in a bank.
Okay.
Now XRP comes out. What does that do to my money?
Say that one more time. You have
$100,000
in a bank.
And then now XRP rolls out. What does that do to my money? Does that?
Okay, I got you.
Does the value of it go down?
It's not a direct correlation.
Okay.
It's indirect.
Okay.
It's indirect. The reason why it's indirect is XRP in and of itself doesn't have anything to do with the dollar. It's just the consequences of what the biggest banks using XRP for. They have consequences for the dollar being used less and less and less because it's not being used as the reserve currency anymore.
It's a digital asset.
There you go.
Okay, I understand. So it's like comparing dollars and bars of gold. The dollar's still a dollar, gold is still gold, but now we have XRP. And the tool of XRP is that it's faster processing, it's more efficient, less fees when you transfer across borders.
100%.
What else?
That's pretty much the nutshell.
Those are the.
It's the instant settlement.
Okay.
And the fees are crazy, stupid low. And they don't have to worry about trusting each other. So there's no counterparty risk anymore when it comes to banks. And so that's a game changer.
What does counterparty risk mean?
Okay, so counterparty risk. When a bank wants to send money, right, there is definitely risk involved because I'm saying I paid you, but it hasn't settled yet, right?
Got you.
It's gonna take a few days, and until that thing actually settles, then you don't really have your money during that settlement process. Sometimes transactions fail.
Yeah.
Right, and sometimes transactions don't go through. That's the counterparty risk. That's the risk that you intake because you have to deal with another party for settlement.
So that risk is gone.
That risk is gone with a jurisdictionless open source technology that sits as a reserve currency for the world.
And so you mentioned that all these world financial institutions are aware of this, right? Like the World Economic Forum.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oops.
What does the World Economic Forum have to do? Because I'm sure you, with your research, you're running into hearing things about the World Economic Forum and George Soros and how they want to have control of all the money and supply. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for XRP if they're involved in it? And you said that the engineers are marketing it to the banks so that they can trickle down to the world. So is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is that ethical, moral? Because now it sounds like if it starts with them, they're going to have control of the money supply. What are your thoughts on that?
What I would say about that is it just is what it is. I wouldn't call it a good thing or a bad thing. It's just this is what it is, and based on that knowledge, we have an opportunity to make an investment. So I see it as a great thing. But that's because I'm in the know, and I have an opportunity to put my money with the banks, right? But other people who may not have had that knowledge, once it grows, they may see it as, they just controlling everything.
Well, I mean, the banks have the money now.
Yeah, absolutely, they have the money, and they always will.
Yeah,
and that's why cryptocurrency is definitely going to be helping the banks stay afloat. They're going to stay afloat. They're not going to go under. They're not going to allow something come and just take them out. There's too much money involved in it.
What happens to the Federal Reserve? In that position, I'm sorry, man. I like something. Happy Halloween, man.
Happy Halloween.
The trick this day was traffic, and I'm a little bit late, man. But I'm literally on the way here. I'm listening to your videos.
Yes,
I'm like, man, I can listen to this guy talk all day.
Oh wow, great, wonderful.
What happens to the Federal Reserve then? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
There is a question out right now: is the Federal Reserve an actually needed entity? That is a definite question. Will the Federal Reserve continue to exist going into the future? I really don't know, but there is a question out there if that is actually going to be a thing in the future.
I mean, I look at the Federal Reserve like someone who owns crypto, anyways. It's just like we just control it, anyways. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So.
Yeah.
What would be the argument to get rid of the Federal Reserve? What would be the argument to keep it?
I don't know. I'm really not sure about that. Yeah, to be honest. Yeah.
What does the Federal Reserve even do?
They basically just print money.
They've been printing it into oblivion.
Yeah. So the Federal Reserve is it's electoral based. So they vote the people who are on the council who control it. It's almost like its own Congress. And the people who sit on the board are all the major bank owners across the country. And so basically they make the decisions on how much money they're going to print. That's basically the gist of it. And
the printing of that money is devaluing our dollar.
Right.
Yes.
Because you're not putting money or liquidity into a market that's due from commerce, that's due from business.
Right.
You're just adding supply.
Yeah.
Hey, we just need more of it, but it's but if you need more, then you're actually shrinking what the worth of it.
It solves the problem in the immediate front, but it just kicks the can down the road for your grandson to handle it later. So
the Federal Reserve is payday loans from my brothers who've been out there. They're like, hey, man.
It's the biggest Ponzi scheme the world has ever. It's a great big Ponzi scheme, man.
Yeah.
It is.
So okay, let's say XRP comes. What is the best way someone can get rich off of this?
Getting in now.
And how do you get in?
You got to get a brokerage first.
Okay.
I like Uphold.
Okay.
Uphold is a great platform. There are other great platforms. Caleb and Brown, I believe, they're a really good platform as well. Those are the two I would recommend. Caleb and Brown, if you want to get yourself your own broker that doesn't cost any extra fees. You have a person that you can call, ask questions, they can lead and guide you, and it doesn't cost any fee, but they will custody your crypto for you. Uphold is a great exchange. When the lawsuit hit, they never delisted XRP. They stayed with XRP. And Uphold also has a partnership with Ripple. And so I think that's well. And so, Uphold has a great platform as well. And so, it's just about, here's the thing. When people ask me about, how should I get XRP or what should I be involved in or what strategy to implement? For me, it's very simple. When it comes to any investment, first of all, this is a long-term investment. This is not like trading, right? When people are trading, you're looking at different metrics when you're trying to get into the trade, technical things, a lot of different numbers on that issue. This is not trading when you're buying something, trying to sell it, get it in, get out, and then keep doing that over and over. I see the value, and The market does not see the same value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a position you just want to put your money in it and let it sit and just let it hold.
Let it do the work.
When you look, there's a great book I read. It's called Margin of Safety by Seth Klarman. Seth Klarman comes from the tutelage of Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett, all those guys. And they believe in something that is called value investing. And the premise of that is, when you are looking at an investment, can you see a bargain? Can you see a bargain? How do you know it's a bargain? If whatever the current price is trading at, the market, for whatever reason, doesn't see the value that's coming in the future, that's the margin of safety. Because your chances of losing money in the long term in a situation like that are very slim, very slim. Okay. When you look at XRP, I don't know any asset on the planet that has a discrepancy of where the current value is according to where it's projected to go, according to how, if it's true that these banks are really going to use it like we're researching, it's an incredible discrepancy on where the actual value should be and where it is today. Right now it's at 52 cents. I'm one of those guys that believes XRP is going to be worth $10,000 at some point in the future. Not because of speculative retail investment, but because of how the largest banks and institutions have said and talked about how they're going to use this coin and the plans they have for it. If it's going to fund trillions of dollars of liquidity, there has to be enough deep and depth of the market in order for $1 trillion transaction to not move the price.
Right.
And so what price does XRP have to be at? So when banks are transacting value in the trillions, it doesn't move the value. Everybody got to come up with that to their self. Yeah. But it's going to be a lot more than 52 cents. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if right now banks are across borders, they're wire transferring money, and then so they have to take American dollars and transfer it into different type of
That's right.
currencies.
That's right.
So what is that process going to be like? Let's say I'm in America, I want to wire transfer $10,000. I have it in dollars. You have to convert it into XRP, and then it goes across the border, and then it reconverts.
So on-demand liquidity works like this. You have XRP in the middle. Let's just use America to the dollar to the euro.
Okay.
So XRP is in the middle. The dollars are transferred into XRP, and then XRP is transferred into the other currency, into the euro. And so that's how that works.
So, but once it's transferred to XRP, the XRP is then wired to Europe.
No, it's not a wire. It's not when you're dealing with digital assets, we can throw wire.
It's like blockchain, right?
Okay.
Throw it out the window. Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Distributed ledger technology is what this is specifically.
So blockchain is for Bitcoin and like Ethereum
right.
and all the other coins. XRP uses
a consensus mechanism.
Got it.
Which is
distributed ledger technology.
Distributed ledger technology.
Yes, sir.
And this is what separates XRP from everything else, because XRP is backed by a whole new technology.
Right. That's right.
So that's what I'm getting away with this. It's not that so this is what separates XRP from other things, right? It's that it has the technological infrastructure that separates it from the blockchain or from any other currency, any other cryptocurrency for that matter.
It's different in this regard. It's compliant for the banks. They have things that they're putting into XRP that make it attractive for banks. Banks can't just interact with anything out there. They have a lot of compliance features that need to be there for them, like digital ID, KYC, which means know your customer, anti-money laundering. They have to have all these things in place, and the XRP is the only crypto that is putting these compliance features in place so that the banks can adopt it.
And it was engineered and created specifically for the banks.
That's right. That's right. 100%.
And
100%.
So what banks across the world? You said most are using it. America's slow.
America's very slow, but they're going to come on board.
Yeah.
Bank of America, they're on record. They have come out and they have expressed that they're going to have usage for XRP. and they're getting in early so that they believe it's going to give them a competitive advantage by using this technology early.
Makes sense.
But when you go on to the other parts of the world, they are far more advanced. They already have legislation written over there in Europe. They already have MiCA, or is it MiCA? Some people say MiCA, some people say MiCA. MiCA. That is their crypto legislation that they've already put in place. Brazil, India, China.
So these are countries that are already using XRP.
They're not in its full use case yet. They're just ahead of us.
Right.
They are ahead of us. They're getting ready to. They're ready to start. We're right there when they're about to start.
What are they doing that's getting them ready to start? Like, how do we?
So legislation is number one.
Okay.
When a government puts down the rules and gives the banks and the institutions the clear rules of the road on how to interact with this safely and compliantly, then you're ready to move, right? And the rest of the world has reached that step. We're still trying to argue. We're still in this bipartisan
What is
shit.
it?
Yeah.
We really, I don't think our government really just understands what it is. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I go up to people and I'll ask people, because it's like, just coming from my perspective, where it's like, I just don't really understand it, but like, I want to understand it.
Yeah.
I'll ask people, I'm like, so can you explain what crypto is to me, or like explain to me what XRP is? And then it's like, well, this is, I'm like, bro, I get lost, but it's like, we need to find a way to cut that down. And once we cut that down, then I feel like the societal thing goes away. Because right now we're in a stage where it's like, people think crypto bros, and they think, you know, like Silicon Valley dude, pink sunglasses, he's chilling, he's got a Ferrari, and then he's broke in 10 years, you know? And it's like, instead of thinking about it as something that's innovative and can actually progress society as a whole. So
I think it's a mixture. There most likely are people in our government who are naive and or just uninformed and don't understand what the technology is. But then there are people who know what it is. It's just corruption.
Yeah.
They have an agenda.
Okay.
They have an agenda to do things their way.
Got it.
And the innovative technology is getting in their pockets. It's taken away from their pockets. And so they're making moves and deals to try to stifle innovation in the United States.
Got it.
I think it's more that than it is, we don't know what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then what you're basically arguing is then it's like, well, then the loose legislature on our end is making up for all these like gray areas where it's like, hey, man, I can benefit from this not being something that we're really like highly regulating right now. Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the projection is 2025. We should have crypto legislation here in the United States in 2025 for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why this election is very important.
Yeah. I know Trump's a crypto guy, and right? I mean,
Yes,
we're 5 days away from having a new president of the United States at the time we're recording. And, you know, I'm not going to get on to like the politics of it, but it looks increasingly likely that Donald Trump and JD Vance are going to be our new vice president of the country.
Yeah.
And I know that Trump is a crypto guy. Like, he's interested in it.
Right.
So, like, him getting into office, opening up that conversation could put us a lot further ahead for something like 2025.
I believe that is a very, very important metric there.
Yeah.
If he wins, he's already stated that upon him winning, he's going to fire Gary Gensler, the current chair of the SEC. The SEC
and you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, and so the SEC getting moved out the way is going to bring the sun out on crypto here in the United States. And
it's like,
so
sunny days are coming, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so that's going to have a lot of positive sentiment for investors when Trump wins. I hope he wins. God, let him win.
Yep. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Excuse me.
No, you're good.
But if that happens, we'll see. I think we may get a little price pump on November 5th if it comes out that Trump wins. Because they're going to connect those dots. Okay, he's going to fire Gary Gensler, which means they're going to put a crypto-friendly person in the SEC, which means the SEC is going to make a settlement with Ripple, and this lawsuit is going to end. When this lawsuit ends favorably for Ripple, that's going to bring the price up tremendously. That one thing alone.
When that happens, what does that mean for America as a country? Because right now the dollar's going down. You know, inflation was really tough the last 4 years.
Yeah.
What is opening up the crypto market and opening this up for investors? What does that mean for like the American people?
Well, the American people who were in the know and were able to get their coins together before the price just went crazy, that's an incredible new way of life. it's freedom, it's having enough, having what you need, while at the same time it's going to be kind of like this tale of two cities type thing going on, where the people who invested, this crash brought on is due to the utility, which is going to bring XRP up, right? But everybody else who didn't get into it, they're being affected by this hyperinflation and the value going down, and there's not being enough food and stuff like that. It's going to be this. It's going to be like I can't think of anything better to put it than Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities. It's the best of times and the worst of times.
Yeah.
What is the taxes like, right? Let's say I go and I put a bunch of money in XRP, blows up, and I got $1 million in it.
Yeah.
In XRP.
Yeah.
How can I use that? Do I have to pull it out and cash it?
Very good question. This is one of the most important things to talk about. My personal plan, I don't ever plan on selling my XRP. So how am I going to get to use it?
Right.
There will be institutions that are paying interest just to hold your crypto. And so my plan is to keep my XRP, keep my investment for the rest of my life, so that as the years go down the road, I'm continually enjoying that appreciating value, but I'm not spending it. So I always have it and just live off the interest.
Got it.
If you have, tens of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto, and you're making somewhere between 5 to 10% interest annually, that's a great deal.
Right.
So you're getting a single-digit millions or two-digit millions of dollars every year. I don't know how they'll pay it out. If they'll pay it out, you'll probably have options to where you can get the interest payments monthly, weekly,
right,
or even daily. But we'll have to get those details as they come out. But that's the freedom for me, man. That's the freedom for me. Interest.
So that you're taking your XRP, you're holding it with a specific financial brokerage, and because they're holding your money, they're paying you that dividend.
That's right. It's not really a dividend, and it's not a broker.
Okay.
Just like a bank now,
right,
may pay you a measly percentage on your savings.
Right.
Here's a 1% if you're lucky on your savings.
Exactly.
Like,
in these days, right?
Yeah.
You're lucky if it's 1%.
You got 2.
But in the future, we're not there yet. We still need legislation to pass. But in the future, banks, certain banks at least, will be custodying crypto and paying interest on it. And so just got to wait for the right vehicle. There are going to be other investment opportunities as well. There's going to be lending opportunities for people who own XRP. You also have the automated market maker, which is a decentralized market where anybody can participate in. And so there's a lot of investment opportunities, interest-bearing opportunities for XRP and other cryptos as well, that I think is the most important way to, when you're talking about exit strategy,
right,
that's the most important thing to do in my opinion.
How do you get the money though? That's what I'm trying to understand. It's
how do you get the money?
Yeah, like how you're getting the interest. Is that a cash out? Like I don't understand that part.
Got you. So it wouldn't be any different from the interest that you're paid through a savings account.
Okay.
Right. And so right now, let's say if you have $100,000 in the bank and the bank is paying you, let's just say 1%.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's about what they're paying.
Right.
Right. So $10,000, 1%. What's that? $100.
$100.
And so you're making $100 a year, right?
And it's going back in that account.
And it's going back into your account.
But do you have access to that money?
100%.
Okay.
100%. And so it'll
with
be
taxes or without taxes.
Now here's the thing. I'm not a tax professional.
Right.
It's my understanding that interest earned is non-taxable. That is
on crypto?
On anything. On fiat, on regular money. I don't if I have money sitting in the bank and they pay me an interest, I don't think that interest is taxable. And so
I can't answer that.
I don't know.
Like I said,
I know there's capital gains taxes.
Crypto with crypto, what's taxable is your profit.
Right. That's okay.
If you pull it out and then start spending it, well, you got to pay Uncle Sam for that.
So you sell your crypto. Now I've profited that crypto, so now I owe tax on
but
that.
But if you're not selling it,
right? If you're just holding
you're just using it somewhere, and there's an instrument paying you interest. That I don't think that's taxable.
I think I think you're right. and we all probably need to do more research on this.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, this sounds like a really great question for a book that's probably sitting on my shelf I haven't read.
But I think what you're saying, because dividends are not taxed.
Right.
So if that interest is, you know what I'm saying,
I think it works in like a similar sense like that, where it's like, but the advantage to me, what it seems is that it's like the market is so ready to burst that it's like, instead of someone having to save up and buy hundreds of shares in a company like Apple or Amazon, which most people aren't going to be able to get enough income in the next year to be able to do that anyways, to make up for whatever bill or whatever expense that they're trying to, you know, cover up for through those dividends. What they can do is say, look into something like XRP and then say, okay, market's about to burst. Things are looking good right now. It's 52 cents.
My God.
Let me drop $100 on this, and like, better or worse, what's going to happen?
If you put $100 on Bitcoin when it was trading at 52 cents, how much money would you have today?
What is it at
I
right
have
now?
no idea.
Do you know what Bitcoin's at right now?
So Bitcoin is approaching all-time highs right now. It's above, somewhere north of $70,000 per coin.
Oh
right
wow, I would have
now.
said like 49.
It's at 70,000 right now.
It's plus. I think it's 71,000 right now.
I wonder what I haven't looked at my Bitcoin in months.
But if you got it when it was 50 cents,
I did not.
Nope.
I wish I would have.
Nope.
Man, one of
You know
my
what I'm
great
saying?
friends told me about Bitcoin like way too early on.
Yeah.
And he was like, you should buy some. And I was like, I don't know what this is. Completely ignored
Yeah.
it. Him and his brother bought a whole bunch, but they were buying like random stuff. Like they were like using it to buy like
Just
weed
wasting.
and like
Oh no,
like random stuff, right? And so like they had like a whole bunch of Bitcoin, but they spent it all just buying
and
random stuff.
And what was the price around? What would you anticipate? What was the price around that time when they were just buying it?
Man, I think it was.
When they got it cheap.
It was like $1,000.
I remember
Okay.
when it was. I think it was like $20. Like I had a neighbor that like would like, he was the finance guy in the neighborhood, and he was like,
Bitcoin's
you
at 70.
gotta get Bitcoin. It's like $20. My grandma was like, I'm
Oh my
not doing
gosh.
all that internet
gosh.
money, and I was like,
That's crazy, man. When you look at the opportunity, hindsight is 20/20.
right.
Let's look at Bitcoin. You know, okay, so when Bitcoin was trading at $20 and then when it rose to 1,000, I'm sure people were ecstatic. Oh my, look at all the money I made.
That's what
Right.
it was. It was like the first
But
boom.
look where it is now. Now
Yeah.
it's at 70,000.
Yeah.
The idea is this: when it comes to cryptos that have a real functional role to play in this new financial system, those are the cryptos you want to hold forever.
Right.
Why? Because the value is tied to the utility.
There it is. That's the key thing.
If technology continues to evolve, then utility use case will continue to evolve. As long as utility and use case continue to evolve, it's going to bring demand that is going to bring up the price.
That makes sense.
And so you want to hold it as long as you can. When XRP gets to $100, people are going to be crazy. Oh my God! And I'm not selling mine. Nope. I'm not selling mine. When it gets to 10,000, people are going to lose their mind.
Yeah.
I'm not selling mine. I'm holding this thing for the long term. I believe there's no cap for how high it can go because of what this world is getting ready to do. So as long as I'm making my interest payments, and as the value increases, guess what else increases? My interest payments.
Exactly.
And I don't have to do anything for it. It's just passive money coming into my account, and I'm keeping my asset for the long term into the future.
And I take that interest and diversify it however else I want into
There
all my
you
other
go.
investments.
There you
and
go.
now I'm just
Now
I'm just stacking up.
There you go.
Why is
That's
nobody
the plan.
copying XRP?
Why is nobody copying XRP?
Why are they not copying that technology?
Well, there are other technologies that are out there, like XLM.
Uh-huh.
XLM is really good, and it's ISO. I talked to you about ISO 20022. That's standard.
ISO, yeah.
Yeah, there are other coins that are ISO 20022 compliant. XRP is not the only token that's good for faster payments and good for frictionless payments. It's the one that the banks have agreed to. Yeah, we're going to use this one. Yeah, but there are other coins that are going to do very well and have their own role to play in the financial system as well.
What are some other coins that are utilizing tools and different roles that we should be like thinking about? Because
So you got
faster processing fees. What are some other?
So
rules?
here's my list of coins
Okay.
that I believe.
You just gonna give it out?
I'm taking notes, man. I'm over here like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. He's been dropping some
We
gems on
might
this.
be flying Cornelius out to private dinners if all this comes true.
I'm over here taking notes right now. Go ahead, sir.
It's gonna be $1 and a dream.
Yeah. These are my list of coins that I believe all have a real use case in the financial system and will be great investments. XRP is number one for me. After XRP, you have XLM.
What is XLM?
So XLM is going to do the same thing XRP is going to do, but it's for consumers. That market is going to be for consumers.
Okay.
So when you're in Switzerland and you're a grandmother in Switzerland and you're trying to send your niece who lives in India, money for graduation, you're not going to use Western Union.
Right.
The fees in Western Union are crazy.
It's not worth it.
You're going to use XLM. Right, but when China is trading with Europe, that's XRP.
XRP, got you.
But when a consumer is trying to trade with another consumer, that's going to be XLM.
Okay.
Then you have XDC.
Okay.
XDC is everything Ethereum is, but it's on. It's just much faster.
Right.
Doesn't require the same computing power, that Ethereum requires, and it's much faster, and it's much cheaper, as well.
Market loves competition.
Yeah. So XRP, XLM, XDC, those are my top three. Then you have HBAR. HBAR is also ISO 20022 compliant, but HBAR is going to be heavily involved with the tokenization of real world assets. So is XRP, but HBAR is going to have a percentage of that pie as well. Quant is good. What else? Algorand. I would recommend Algorand as well. But for the most part, there may be a few others, but for the most part, those are the ones I think if you have that basket of coins, you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You're gonna be good. You just gotta let them sit and just hold them and just let it sit. You're not gonna have nothing to worry about especially after 2025 passes. Each year after that, I think the crypto market is just going to be getting higher and higher and higher. And before 2030, I expect to be incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we got to stay in touch, man. I got you.
We're going to be out in Dubai. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
Question.
Yeah, I love it.
Question. You gave me a top 5.
Mm-hmm.
What should be the percentages that you invest?
That's arbitrary.
Matter?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
I can't tell you that. That's going to be a personal decision that each person's going to have to make.
I have $100.
Yeah.
Percentage wise.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
95% XRP.
Got you. I got you.
Take the other 1% to each one as you will.
Okay.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
What would be the argument against getting XRP? Saying, hey, this could be something where if you put your money in, you might lose it all.
I can tell you what people say.
Yeah. What is the negative comments out there?
But the negative sentiment around this XRP is not based in any real facts.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying that Ripple is dumping XRP on the market. They have a problem with Ripple that they hold so much XRP, right? But it's just not true that they're dumping XRP to the market. It's factually untrue. They have a lot of XRP, and when XRP leaves their escrow account, it doesn't go to the market. It goes to the banks who are buying XRP from Ripple. So when XRP leaves the escrow and is added to the circulating supply, that's because banks are bringing that supply out because of the plans that they have to use for it.
Got it.
And so that's just an idea that a lot of people have. A lot of people, who are haters, I would call them, of XRP, they'll say, XRP holders, we're just exit liquidity for Ripple. They'll say things like that. And of course, we have the lawsuit,
like a pump and dump type of thing.
Yeah, but it's not true. It's just not true at all.
So I'm trying to just rephrasing what I kind of learned is like XRP Ripple is selling XRP to the banks, and the banks are utilizing it as like a prototype to see if it works.
Yeah, and so we're past that stage of seeing if it works.
And they see it works.
Yeah.
Now they're updating legislation because they know it works.
There you go.
And now they're saying, okay, now we're getting ready for the mass production of
That's
usage.
right. We're in a transition. We're entering into a transition phase where they're calling it a reset. Calling it a reset. Brad Garlinghouse has recently in an interview talked about saying, yes, there's going to be a reset.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people in the community got excited about that. It's something we already knew. But this reset, wiping the debt and moving over from a fiat system to a digital system, that's the reset.
Right.
And when the reset happens, there's not a crypto in the world that stands more to gain than XRP, in my opinion.
Right.
Everybody thinks differently. Everybody has to do their own research, right? But I don't see any other. Here's what I would start with. If you can do research on this thing and you can see, okay, you know what? There is going to be a reset. There is going to be a transition from the way money is being transacted globally. The transition.
It has to.
It's going to digital. That's a fact. I don't see how anyone can't see that. And then if that's true, does anyone see there is a function, a real role for a bridge liquidity token in the new financial system? And that's the role XRP plays. Every crypto, all those cryptos I named, they all have different roles and functions.
Mm-hmm.
XRP's role is bridge liquidity in a nutshell. That's it. You have asset A, you have asset B, and we need liquidity amongst them to transact. XRP is in the middle to handle that. And so if that role is a very big role, when you think about all the money that's already out there, and all of this turning digital, the FX market, the derivatives market, all of that is going digital. Cross-border payments, all that's going digital. Tokenizing assets, real estate, things that are not tokenized now are going to be tokenized. So new value, new inflows are about to come into this market. All of real estate, gold is going to be tokenized. Silver is going to be tokenized. Everything of value is going to be tokenized, assigned a digital code, and will run on some ledger. XRP is going to have a tremendous piece of this pie when it's all said and done.
You need a canal.
So because all of these assets are going to go to a token, those assets are still going to have to be transacted. And is XRP going to be that ledger?
That's right. The transactions will happen on the ledger, and that's how XRP will transact that value from one asset to another.
So not just bank and bank. It could be anything.
That's right. That's right. The idea is the internet of value.
Yeah.
The way the internet changed the way we send information.
Right.
That's what distributed ledger technology is about to change, how we send value.
Why has this not been done already with money?
Well, it's a long process, right? It's something that probably should have been done a long time ago.
I would think it's the first thing they would do before they...
Money is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Before emails.
Yeah, it's the most important thing in the world. So it's understandable that it would take time when you take in consideration, how banks traditionally move. They move slow.
Yeah.
Right? And the heads of these banks are usually older people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who are not as quick to move
to
technology, right? But it's going to happen. It's definitely, and we're right at the brink right now.
Interesting.
I think that goes back to that Federal Reserve conversation too, where it's like a lot of those people are the guys sitting on the board over at the Federal Reserve. So it's like
a bunch of old guys.
How are they incentivized to get something like this moving along faster when they're literally sitting on a money factory?
Yeah.
They're like, we can just print it whenever we want to push the button. Like, who wants to push the button today? Okay, cool. Finger on the button for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that balloon's about to pop, man.
Yeah, it's
that
over.
Balloon is about to pop, and that's why I know we're going to adopt the technology, because we're going to be forced to. If we don't, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're going to fall behind all of our trading partners globally.
$1 trillion a year in debt.
Man, please.
Right now.
Man, please. That's why we need a reset. We have to have a reset. It's no other way.
That's something I'm thinking too. It's like with the election coming up and being able to replace the chair of the SEC and kind of get the economy stimulated again through different types of value, so that we can compete on the world scale.
Yes.
And that's why I think I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think the United States is in a power position with crypto to be able to kind of get back on the competing of the economic scale?
I think so. Just like I said, this technology is enabling the East nations to come out from under the sanctions of the West. So just like they're using the technology to kind of get their own independence, so the United States can also use the technology to strengthen their situation as well. But it's not going to, the days are over when one nation is dominating the other nations. It's going to be a level playing field. And whoever uses the technology the best are going to have the competitive advantage.
Right.
And capitalism here is going to win. So, I mean, if it's a bunch of people trying to make the most money doing the right thing, capitalism using that tool is going to win.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see all this unfold. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Can't wait.
What are some questions you have that's still on your mind?
So you mentioned again, like there were some brokerages out there that like people can go to. Can you run those down again one more time?
Yeah, the two that I mentioned, Uphold and Caleb and Brown.
Okay. What's the difference between Uphold and Caleb and Brown?
Uphold they're an exchange. Caleb and Brown is more like a brokerage.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can basically go to one and just kind of like shop it and do however I want to do it. Then the other one, it's like, hey, I want a little bit more like expertise.
Yeah, if you want more hands-on with dealing with a person, I would go with Caleb and Brown.
Got it.
But if you don't want to deal with anybody, you just want to do everything online, I would go with Uphold.
Yeah, I'm just like, how fast can I just go like put my $95 into XRP and put my $5 everywhere else?
Do it today.
Like, yeah, I'm like, let's do it
before
man.
November 5th, just in case
facts.
the price could easily double on November 5th. It could happen.
I'm pretty sure it will.
It could go to $1 on the news of Trump winning.
Yeah.
That could happen. I don't know what's going to happen.
And then I'm curious to see whenever the SEC gets replaced, that's going to go up again.
I know what's going to happen. I'm going to wake up.
100%.
I'm going to open up my window. The sun's going to wink at me, and I'm going to go, it's a great day. American flag's going to fly over my lawn.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
I talked on my channel about 6, like, these perfect storm events that I believe is going to send XRP to the moon.
What do you want to go over them? Is that
okay? Absolutely. So one event was the automated market maker that has already come out. And we're still waiting for more real-world assets to be added to the market maker for it to be, have any real significance. We'll see what happens there. We'll keep it, we'll keep looking at that. But the other things are the SEC lawsuit ending. That's a big event. This lawsuit has been drawn out for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
4 long years. And it's the reason the price has been suppressed in the first place.
Got you.
When this lawsuit is finally over, people just don't understand. It's going to unleash XRP to do all the utility stuff we're talking about. So the lawsuit, then there's legislation. When the rules are clear and banks know how to interact, then they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And the fourth thing is, which we spoke about, a new SEC chair. We have this dark cloud over crypto because we have some corrupt people in government that are doing things that are not for the American people. Yeah. They want to say we're for the people. No, you're not. You're attacking innovation. It's directly attacking families, and so they're not doing that. But that's going to come to an end when we have a new SEC chair. Finally, we have XRP ETFs. ETFs are exchange traded funds. We already have some that have come out. Bitwise has announced an application for one, and Grayscale announced an XRP trust that they're doing. But the biggest one is BlackRock, right?
Yeah.
BlackRock. When BlackRock files their ETF, then we're going to be really in the game for that. We probably still have some time for that. I anticipate 2025 for that. And finally, a Ripple IPO. When Ripple goes public, that's also going to be tied to settlement for XRP. It's not going to be a direct relation, but I believe when Ripple IPO and they're going up, people are going to look at XRP and make that connection and buy XRP as well. But all these things should be in play by 2025. One I would add to the 6 is just real-world assets being issued. When you look at it again, we talked about why do we think XRP is going to be these crazy 3, 4, 5 digits? Not because people are buying it in for investment purposes. Not really. I mean, it could go up a little bit for that. But it's the trillions of volume is going to come from the biggest banks, the biggest institutions, because of how they plan on using the token, not so much for investment. If that's the case, if XRP's role is bridge liquidity amongst different digital assets, then in order for it to function in that role, we need some digital assets.
Right.
Today, we don't really have any,
Right.
right? But they're coming.
Yeah.
The stable coins are being issued this year, and it's just the beginning. So that tells us how early we are.
Right.
You know, so a lot of people are frustrated about the price, but they don't understand we're early. We're early. We are so early. We're in a world where legislation hasn't been written. We're in a world where the lawsuit is still going.
Wow.
We're in a world where no government has issued their stablecoin yet. It's happening this year, and we're just at the beginning. How far will the price go up at the beginning? How much volume will run at the very beginning? We'll see. But when you look at that metric,
Right.
oh my God,
We're in the Wild West.
oh my
of,
God,
of
the
crypto
opportunity,
right now.
the
It's like
upside
everything's
for
open.
this. Oh my God.
It's wide open right now, and
Wait
it's like,
till
hey, get in on
2025.
it.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you
I'm
can.
excited. You got me
Wait till
excited, man.
2025. Wait till 2026. You know, when all these things are implemented, legislation's done, banks know how the rules of the road are clear, and the real world assets have actually been issued, and now we're transacting volume in trillions.
Got it.
We'll see where XRP is then.
What's stablecoin mean? You kind of mentioning it and how it's related to each
So,
government.
a stable coin is another type of crypto, but it's issued usually by some private institution, right? So Circle, they have a stable coin, USDC, and Tether, that's another stable coin, USDT. And stable coins are dollar denominated assets. They're digital, they're like digital dollars, but you have two different types. You have the types that are backed physically one-to-one by a dollar or gold or whatever physical asset. And then you have those that are backed algorithmically. So the trading is done to keep the number the same, keep that number one-to-one.
Got it.
And so they are basically coming against Tether legislation-wise, because they are saying that that's what they did in the MiCA legislation. I'm assuming the United States is going to be right. They're going to be doing the same thing as well. They want it to be physically backed by a dollar, not algorithmically backed.
Right.
So that's going to knock out Tether. And with a lot of Bitcoin's, volume being tied up in Tether, a lot of people are concerned that if Tether crashes, it's going to bring Bitcoin down.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a concern there. But the green road is in play for RLUSD. That is the stablecoin that Ripple is using, and that's the stablecoin that all these institutions in the United States are going to be sending their volume into. So it's going to be a coin that they can use to make payments with, stablecoin, to make these fast payments. But the role of XRP, along with the stablecoin, is going to be used for liquidity purposes, for transacting value. And so that's how those two coins work together. So the issuance of stablecoins and other things like central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, they're just like stablecoins. The only difference is the government will have control over those. They will be issued and offered by the government.
That's what's going to replace welfare. That's what's going to. That's literally what's going to be like.
Yeah.
Hey, Joanne, you need to go pay for some milk and some eggs this week. Like, boom, here's some stable coin. And it's like
Everything
they
is
need
gonna
the
be
connective
going
tissue
to
to
that
be able to
area. That's
transfer
right.
that.
That's right.
And that's where XRP.
So that's where XRP's value is going to come from. Once we're in the day and age where these digital assets are a real thing, that's the value that the value proposition for XRP is the liquidity amongst these assets.
That's so interesting. How did you kind of get started on YouTube and build a following? And you've cultivated this community, and what's the feedback you're getting by providing this research and knowledge that you're giving out?
I love my community, man.
Yeah.
I love my community. I got started because I was very passionate about it. Anything I'm passionate about, I can talk about it, And so when I got into this, and I'm like, okay, I know what XRP is. I got my coins together. That's not good enough. I want to tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in the grocery store, and I'll just be next to people in line, and I'll be like, y'all just have no idea. You know what I'm saying? And I just
Relatable,
sometimes
man.
I start conversations with random strangers. But and a lot of times people think you're trying to sell them something, right? They don't really want to listen. And so I said the best way for me to do this is just start a YouTube channel and I'm gonna
Right.
talk, and then whoever wants to listen, then they can listen.
Right.
You know, and my personality kind of flows out, you know, in those things, and so I think people kind of like the way I do things, and so I've built a nice little following, and I've built a nice following of haters too. Oh man, I got a nice
It
little
comes in,
following
man.
of people that just want to, you know, jab at me and, you know, say silly things and all that, and I just screenshot their comments. You know, I screenshot
Yeah.
it because I'm gonna do a whole montage on all the stupid comments.
That's when
I
you
got.
get excited, man.
Yeah.
Whenever the haters come in, you're like, I'm doing it,
It makes
man.
you legit, man. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. But I got a lot of haters as well. You know, that's just part of it.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
got to take the good with the bad.
Absolutely.
I just imagine someone being like, man, I wish someone would have told me about Bitcoin 15 years ago. And here you are telling people, you're like, man, y'all know about XRP. They're like, man, get out of my face. And it's like, you're literally wishing for like the same thing, basically.
No one's gonna be able to say I didn't tell them.
Right.
No one's gonna be able to say I didn't tell them.
You had a whole YouTube channel yelling at people like, hey, bro, come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Have you seen that meme? And it's like a guy doing a YouTube video, and he goes, the title's "Please just buy $1 of Bitcoin," and it's in like 2010.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
And
Oh my
nobody like it has like 800 views.
So check this. I don't know what year it was, but it was back in the day. Bitcoin was trading at just pennies, right?
Right.
And someone had Bitcoin, not knowing what it is, not understanding what it was. They traded their Bitcoin and bought 2 pizzas.
I heard the story. Yeah,
2
yeah.
pizzas. Do you know the money they've spent on that 2 pizzas in their Bitcoin now would have been worth about $700 million, man.
Yo.
They spent 2.
I hope that heartburn and that stomach acid was worth it, man, because ain't no way.
That's why in the XRP community, we say know what you hold.
right.
Yeah.
Know
Just
what
sit
you
on it,
hold.
man.
In the face of what the media is trying to spill, in the face of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you're always going to have the naysayers. You're always going to have the negative people. You just, at the end, you just have to be confident in the research you've done. You have to know what you hold, know what that asset is, and have the grit to just stay in it and just, and just see it through.
I don't see any like value gained for you. Like if you're telling us to go purchase this,
There you go.
it's not
What
like
do I
you'll,
get?
yeah,
Right.
exactly. What do you?
What do I get?
Yeah.
I get the peaceable conscience to know
Right.
that I helped somebody.
Right.
So that's what I get. Yeah.
One thing I kind of want to talk. I mean, I could talk forever about with you and just about anything. What is your breakdown of what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yeah. I find it very interesting that during this, while Gary Gensler is, meeting with all these people and shutting the door on everybody, but somehow Sam Bankman-Fried gets to go scot-free when it comes to their plans and what they were doing. And so it's just unfortunate. They're coming after credible companies like Ripple, Debtbox, Coinbase. All these players that want to follow the rules. We just
Right.
don't know what the rules are. But then FTX, they don't put any pressure on them. And that was the one company that went insolvent,
Right.
that went under. So if you ask me, it smells of corruption all over the place. And there's some investigations, and there may be some jail time. We don't know. We'll see how things come out in the future. But it's definitely a lot of corruption, man. A lot of corruption. But the sun's gonna shine. It just takes a minute.
What were they doing that was corrupt? Because I could try to
Using
regurgitate.
customer funds
Right.
in their investment. You're not supposed to if you give me your funds, I'm supposed to be custodying your funds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to take your funds and then go do something else with it. And then if I lose the money,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And so on paper, I'm supposed to have X amount of
Got it,
dollars.
Right.
But in reality, I don't really have that much money. And so when you want to pull your money out, if everybody wants to pull their money out, then
They basically did what I used to try to do in 8th grade,
You
where
know?
I'd be like, hey, bro, you give me the money for the Jordans up front. I ain't got the Jordans, but I'm going to tell you I got the Jordans. And then
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy them from somebody else for the low.
you
And then
know.
I'm going to sell them. I'm going to give them back to you, but I'm going to keep the profit. And it's like, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, so they were doing a lot of bad deals, man. That shit hit the fan, and so that's why he's in jail, and we are where we are today.
But isn't that what banks do? Banks take all our money and go invest in other things.
Exactly. But now banks, they have some type of legal requirement where they're able to take the money.
Yeah,
and
they're
make
by
investments.
the
Yeah, that's
what,
definitely-
Federal Reserve lending. They're
Mhm.
allowed to under that law.
Yeah.
Well, then that's where I'm like, well, that's the real corruption then, and it's like, well, then why are they not able to, but you're able to, just under a different set
I'm not
of-
well versed on the
I'm not
intricacies
either, man.
of that part.
I'm not
to
even
be
gonna
honest.
pretend like I am either, man. But like,
Yeah.
just on the base value of it, I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
like something don't smell
Yeah,
right here,
yeah.
man. I might have to go.
But I
sniff
do
that
know
out.
FTX went insolvent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know they went insolvent. You know, and a lot of banks. You know, it was the Silicon Valleys and the
Right.
other ones. You know, but the thing is, for me, the main thing is just what do I hold and how can I position myself in the face of what's going on in this globe and what's going on in this economy. And for me, knowledge is power, and the knowledge I have about this asset, the market doesn't see that.
Yeah.
And that gives me an incredible advantage. But the market's gonna see it. But when the market does see it, it's gonna be too late then.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it's gonna be too late.
Try to catch up on it, and it's
Yeah.
like, I told you guys about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just didn't listen.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. What questions do you have for us, or anything that's still on your mind that we didn't maybe get to go discuss?
Let's see. I don't know. You're in the more real estate, right?
Financial services, insurance,
Okay.
life insurance, retirement planning.
What are your thoughts on how your niche kind of goes into the changes that's going on in the world with finance and things of that nature?
Yeah, great question. So what I like to show people how to do is invest their money safely. So a lot of our clients, they maybe say have 100,000, a few 100,000, or as low as 30,000, and they want to go and invest in a piece of real estate, or they want to go invest in a business, or they want to go buy crypto. They take that money and they put it in as an investment, and as an investment, you can win or lose.
Right.
So I show people, hey, you could take that money, put it into a index universal life policy. That 30,000, 100,000, 50,000 is going to grow and never go down. While that money's growing with uninterrupted compound interest, you can take a loan against it, go invest, buy that property, go put 30, 50,000 in XRP in crypto or wherever you want to park it. So now your money's in two places at once. Now that IUL is growing tax-free, uninterrupted compound interest, that money's also in the crypto market. That money's also on a property that's generating.
So wait, you have the loan, but you also have the money
Exactly.
appreciating at the same time.
Exactly. So
Wow.
so we have a lot of partners that buy real estate that way.
Okay.
One of the brokers at the office, everything he buys is through an IUL, any big purchase.
Wow.
So he has over 40 plus life insurance policies.
Wow.
And each one is designed for, one is for this house, one is for this property, one is for this property, one is for the Rolls Royce, one is for this.
Oh, wow.
And so it's
Wow.
like I see the proof of concept actually working. And I don't see any reason why I can't do it with crypto.
Right.
And then this is what the best part about it. Let's say you buy Bitcoin and it plummets.
Right.
That money you lost
That
was
wasn't-
never
that
your
wasn't
money.
your money.
It was never your
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
So at the end of the day,
you still have
your money sitting in that IUL.
I got you.
And it's a great way to it's a multiplier of money. And so I'm just really excited to invest in XRP, and then let's say that goes to the moon and this goes to the moon.
Hey,
Now
man.
everything.
Hey.
So we're in the business of multiplication.
I get excited by and this is where I do think, as far as our industry goes, this is my one complaint about our industry. Anybody and everybody can get into the industry, which is also one of the strengths of it.
Yeah.
Because anybody and everybody can get into it, but you let anybody and everybody get into it, you let the
what they're talking
world's
about.
problems into it, man.
Yeah.
But when that happens, this is where I think we're moving as far as I think securities licenses are going to be required in our industry moving forward, because I can easily see a world where right now IULs and specifically when we talk about that product, it's backed against markets. So it's different exchange markets, right? So if we're moving in a direction where it's now we have crypto exchange markets, what's the premium going to be on an IUL policy that's backed by a crypto market?
Gotcha.
Knowing that the range for, I guess interest, you know what I mean? When I look at crypto markets, I see it go up and it goes down, and it's what does an IUL look like that's backed by something like XRP and what they're doing over with Ripple? That gets me very excited.
Yeah,
It's okay, my IUL that's already performing is about to go triple, quadruple with what it's bringing for me annually. So that gets me excited.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Lot of things going on in the financial market that a lot of people just don't know about because they're just not having these conversations.
Right.
And it's like I didn't know about anything about crypto, or even like I knew about Bitcoin. I didn't know anything about XRP until today.
Wow.
And now it's like I'm gonna go put a few $100s in it.
Yeah.
And what's the worst thing that can
Yeah,
happen?
literally.
Brother, you've wasted $100
Exactly.
in worse ways.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
I think
That's-
I wasted
that's-
$100 on my way here today, and I was late. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, I should have put it in XRP.
Exactly.
So that's exciting, man. So knowledge is power, like you said. I like sharing the wealth. What's going on in the world today is like, it's abundance, right? We can all have a piece of this pie.
Yeah,
There's more. We can all have a pie.
That's right. That's
We
right.
can have
That's
multiple
right.
pies.
That's right.
That one guy said spent 2 Bitcoin on two pies. Yeah, he lost it. So
He lost, man. He lost.
Yeah.
awesome, man. Any final thoughts?
Oh man, just take everything I say, but do your research. I would look into it, ask questions, Google questions, read articles. Listen to other credible people speak on the matter. It's one of the most important topics you could ever look at, and time is of the essence.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Cornelius
Yes,
Jones,
sir.
ladies and gentlemen.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Absolutely. Thank
yes,
you,
sir.
man.
Appreciate you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Yes, sir.